Britney Spears has lived the life that people write movies about. A life built on fame, pressure, control, rebellion, and a fight for freedom that played out in front of the entire world. But the real story of how Britney became both an icon and a warning is a lot darker and a lot more complicated than most people realize. Britney didn't just become famous, she became a product, a brand, a global symbol of perfection, innocence, and performance, all crafted when she was just a kid. And once the machine of Hollywood and the music industry realized how much money she could generate, they did what they always do. They squeezed everything they could out of her. Britney wasn't treated like a teenager. She was treated like a corporation with legs. Her schedule was packed, her image was micromanaged, and every decision about her life became someone else's business. When she was a teenager, her image was designed to be the perfect balance of innocence and shock value. A young girl presented as pure but styled in a way that guaranteed controversy, attention, and headlines. Every move she made could be turned into money. Every interview, every performance, every photo shoot contributed to a machine that depended on her staying marketable. And the industry didn't care what that pressure did to her. They cared about the numbers. As Britney got older, that pressure didn't go away. It got worse. Fame stopped being the dream she once wanted and became the thing she couldn't escape. Paparazzi followed her everywhere. They weren't just aggressive, they were relentless. They blocked her car. They screamed at her. They chased her through parking lots. People online joke about paparazzi today, but back then, these photographers made millions off a single photo of Britney. They had every financial incentive to push her to the edge. And while the world watched her break down, very few people stopped to ask what all of that pressure would do to anyone, especially someone who had been famous since childhood. People forget that before she ever shaved her head or attacked a car with an umbrella, she was trying to be a mother. She was trying to build a life that wasn't based on performing. She was trying to be human. But the world didn't want Britney the human. The world wanted Britney the spectacle. When Britney struggled, the media treated her like entertainment. Late-night hosts made jokes about her. Tabloids called her crazy. News anchors discussed her like she was a train wreck instead of a person in pain. It became socially acceptable to mock her mental health. People who had built their careers off reporting on celebrity gossip treated Britney like a never-ending goldmine of clicks and ratings. And behind the scenes, decisions were being made about her life that she had no control over. In 2008, the courts handed Britney's father, Jamie Spears, one of the most powerful legal weapons available, a conservatorship. These are typically reserved for people with severe mental incapacity, usually elderly people who can no longer make decisions for themselves. Britney was just in her 20s, performing, recording, touring, and generating tens of millions of dollars. Yet the court decided she couldn't legally make basic decisions about her own life. Under the conservatorship, Britney couldn't choose her own doctor. She couldn't drive freely. She couldn't manage her finances. She couldn't hire her own lawyer without permission. She couldn't decide who could visit her. She couldn't even control her own birth control, according to her later testimony. The message was clear. Britney was considered competent enough to perform for the world, but not competent enough to control her own life. People benefited from Britney staying under that system. Her father drew a salary. Her team made percentages. The machine ran smoothly as long as Britney kept generating money. And for years, Britney didn't publicly fight it. She later said she was threatened, manipulated, and pushed into compliance. She performed at award shows. She judged on national television. She completed tours, all while a system controlled her every move. And then, something changed. Britney stopped cooperating. She refused to perform. She pushed back for the first time in a major way. And that shift forced the world to look at what had been happening behind the scenes for over a decade. When she finally got the chance to speak in court in 2021, her testimony shocked everyone. She described her life in the conservatorship as abusive. She said she had been forced into treatments she didn't want. She said she had been drugged. She said her basic rights had been taken away. Britney's story isn't just about fame. It's about control. It's about what happens when a person becomes more valuable as a product than as a human being. It's about how the system treats women, especially young women, when they stop fitting the image that made them profitable. It's about how easy it is for powerful people to hide behind legal structures while stripping someone of their autonomy. And it's about how one voice, when finally heard, can expose an entire system. Today, Britney lives her life outside the conservatorship, but she's still dealing with the aftermath. Social media shows glimpses of someone trying to express herself freely for the first time in years, but also someone navigating the psychological scars of being controlled for more than a decade. Some people judge her behavior online, others defend it, but the truth is, nobody knows what it feels like to have your life managed by others for that long. And the world is watching someone who is still figuring out who she is now that she gets to make those choices again. The biggest lesson in all of this isn't about Britney's fame. It's about the way society reacts to vulnerability. It's about how people love celebrities when they're perfect and tear them apart when they aren't. It's about how we treat mental health in the public eye. Britney's breakdown wasn't entertainment. It was a human being overwhelmed by pressure, isolation, and exploitation, and the world laughed at her instead of helping her. Looking back, it's easy to see the warning signs: the grueling childhood work schedule, the inappropriate marketing at a young age, the paparazzi harassment, the constant public scrutiny, the controlling relationships around her. These things don't happen in isolation. They stack layer after layer until a breaking point is inevitable. Britney Spears became famous for her voice, her performances, and her impact on pop music. But she became unforgettable because of what her story revealed about the darker side of fame. She showed the world how dangerous it is when entertainment, profit, and power collide. She showed how fragile the line is between success and exploitation. And she showed how important it is for people to be treated as humans, not commodities. Her freedom didn't come from the industry. It didn't come from lawyers. It came from a combination of her own courage and a movement of people who refused to stop asking questions. Her story is a reminder that even the most powerful systems can be challenged when the truth comes out. And as time goes on, people are beginning to see Britney not just as a pop star, but as a symbol of resilience, a reminder of what happens when a person refuses to be controlled forever, a reminder that fame doesn't protect you from being exploited. In fact, it can make you even more vulnerable. Brittany didn't choose the battles she had to fight, but she chose to fight them anyway. Her story is still unfolding. She's rebuilding her identity. She's learning to live on her own terms. She's no longer the product the industry designed. She's a human being reclaiming her life. And whether the world likes it or not, she doesn't have to be perfect to be free.